Alright, you guys, so I decided I wanted to do a car story time. It's like super nice out. It's like 80 degrees, so like let's do it. So I just got told to move my car, so I just moved it real quick. So I want to talk to you guys about the time that I fell off an ATV and almost died. It wasn't my fault though. So basically, I am African American, of course, but my parents are from Dominica. Not this Dominica, this Dominica. Dominica is a small country, like literally the population is like 1. That's probably why you never heard of it. And we were actually founded first, and then it was the Dominican Republic. Just had to put that out there. But honestly, no shade. Seriously, I've been to Dominica like a bazillion times. And this particular time, we went... Who's talking to me? Okay, he's mad loud. But this particular time that we decided to go to Dominica was very interesting because we decided to do more touristy things. And so I've always wanted to go ATV riding. Like my sis and I, that's all we wanted to do. Now, my dad's side of the family is like this small compared to my mom's side, which is like this big. So it's like the whole population of Dominica, to be honest. So literally all our cousins were down there, and I have cousins that are my age, and then I have cousins that are close to my sister's age. And if you don't know, my sister and I are like 8 years apart. I'm 22 and she's like, I like to say she's just 30 already because she pretty much is low-key. So enough about that. So there was this one particular cousin, I'm gonna call her Emily. I have not seen Emily in maybe about 10 years, like straight up a whole decade. And so all the cousins decided to go ATV riding, and even our older cousins were the chaperones. So like our cousins that like are obviously established in their 50s, they're obviously coming with us. Cool. I look like I work at Wendy's, but I'm here for it. So yeah, if I'm talking fast, I'm so sorry. I do talk fast, and I'm getting hot because I turned off the AC. But whatever. So anyway, we go to the ATV riding place, and I'm excited. And you know, when I think when everyone thinks of ATV riding, they think of a flat surface, like flat concrete, you know, a little bit of bumps, but nothing to talk about. Nothing like dangerous, nothing excessive, right? Wrong. This ATV riding course, there's like 3 people doing it. They're all pretty much like my sis age and my age. So like they're like literally, I was like 17 at the time, so they're like 17, 18, 19, and the oldest is probably like 26, or honestly 24, 23. Anyway, they're all in their early 20s and late teens. So they're like making us sign things like if we die, like it's not their fault, etc. And I remember talking so much crap about wearing a helmet. I was like,
who needs a helmet? Like, this is gonna be light work. Like, it's gonna be flat surface. Like, this is ridiculous. You know, hood tendencies.
Hood things, of course. This is what I think of, because you know, when I ride bikes and stuff, and you know, in my area, because it's urban, nobody got time for no helmets. Like no. So I was like, yo, this is so funny. Like, we really have to wear helmets. And thank God they had us wear helmets, because I talked too soon for my own liking. Of course, it's time to go on ATVs, and I always, you know, when it comes to things like ATVs and just things that I'm not used to, I'm usually not gonna want to be the driver. Like, I'm not gonna want to be the one who takes the wheel. I'd rather be the passenger. Like, I just don't want to be in charge of my own life or anyone else's life if I don't know what I'm doing. So of course, I low-key wanted to ATV ride with my sister, but she ended up ATV riding with our cousins that were close to her age. And then I got to drive with Emily. Now here's the thing. I had to move because a bunch of guys parked behind me and I just wasn't here for it. So anywho, we were at the part where I decided to ATV ride with Emily. So again, I haven't seen Emily in a decade and whatever, but you know, Emily actually has done ATV before. She kind of knows the guys that are like there, and you know, she grew up in DA all her life, Dominica. So, you know, I high-key trust this girl. Honestly, when we start to drive, it's going well. Like, it's going mad good. Like, she's doing her thing. I feel safe. I trust her at this point. And it's fun. Like, I'm having a great time. However, I love my country, y'all. It got black sand beaches. It's the nature isle. It has 365 rivers. But y'all need to fix y'all ATV course, because this was like an episode of Ninja Warriors where, like, you know, the obstacle courses and stuff. So it wasn't just a flat concrete surface all the way through. Like, there were definitely hills, there were rocky moments, and there were like these tight pathways. And guess what happened, you guys? We finally approached a tight pathway. Like, a tight pathway. And I can't explain it, but it's like, this is a tight pathway. This is how wide the ATV is. And then on top of that, bish what? We're surrounded by like these mountainy rock things. Like, it's so freaking weird. Oh, I burped. So, you know, my sister and I made this point looking back, but I didn't know that sis was low-key trying to impress like some of the guys that were like in charge of the ATV place. I just thought she knew them because, you know, in Dominica the population is like 0, so everyone knows everybody. No, but for real,
like, I didn't know she was really trying to impress them.
so I realized when we get stuck, we get stuck in this like skinny pathway, mountainous route. That's like the hardest part of the ATV. Could we talk about how well I just explained that though? Of course, they should do this by levels, but you know, again, in my country, the hard level is the easy level and that's it. There is nothing else to do. I should also mention right now that this was not a regular ATV. It wasn't like the regular leveled ATVs. Like, our ATV was like a 2nd floor ATV. So she was on the 1st level and my seat was all the way up here. So it was pretty much like royalty when you like are lifting the royal highness to her like place in her palace and her chariot. Like, that's literally, it looked like I was being carried and I was freaking royalty. Like, I'm trying not to curse because that's how mad I am about it. But yeah, this happened. So anyway, we get stuck. And this is where I start to realize that something might actually go down. I realize she's stepping on the gas mad hard. Like, she doesn't even care that like the harder she steps, the worse something's gonna happen. And at this point, the ATV's like going like, it keeps like shaking, y'all. Like, it's shaking and shaking and shaking. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, I'm just panicking at this point. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, I can fall in the ditch and possibly die, or this is gonna sound so crazy and so egotistical, or I could scrape my whole body and all of my skin on this mountainous cliff rock that's pretty much a mountain right next to me. Ditch, lose my face. Ditch, lose my face. I think I'm gonna go in the ditch. Like, I already like made that up in my mind. Like, I'm gonna just take that L and just, you know. So of course, by the ninth time she steps on the gas and no one is pretty much trying to help us, that's when everything went left. So, you know, of course the ATV starts to like kind of tip over, but of course, because my seat is all the way up here and she's down here, I'm gonna be the one affected. I already knew this. So I start to just like jump, like I fly off this thing like freaking skydiving on steroids, bitches. Like, I was gone. I like fly off. There's a car coming in, so I'm gonna put on the AC real quick, but I'm not moving my camera because I refuse to do that. Anywho, so I fly and I'm like, yeet! Like, I already made up my mind. I'm not gonna fly right, I'm gonna fly left. Cause I wouldn't even be able to fly right. I would have just like knocked right into the rocks and died, like straight up. So I fall into the ditch hole and I remember my sister was like,
yo, sis, when I saw you, I was already trying to think of my escape plan, because sis, I thought you was dead. You was like, and you didn't move for like a good 10 seconds.
Which she's right, I definitely didn't move. But I just have to say, God was on my side that day, because you guys, like, oh my goodness, like, I'm gonna put the window down. Like, you guys, I literally was able to just escape with no scratches, no nothing. Like, I didn't really have any bruises. I wasn't in pain. I didn't have to go to the hospital. Like, I was so thankful to be okay. However, my cousin Emily though, y'all, she definitely was so shaken up. And you know when you're so shaken up that you can't even like apologize, or you're just so like in distraught? Like, apparently she still continued the course without me, of course, and they said the whole time she literally just could not think straight. She could barely drive straight. Like, she low-key felt bad, but in the moment she did not say sorry. And I know sometimes when you're just so shocked that you almost killed somebody, or just in general that you did something horrible, sometimes it takes a while to say I'm sorry. But I'm different. Like, as soon as I do something stupid or I bump into you, I will say I'm sorry. Like, even if people bump into me, I will naturally just say I'm sorry, because I'm so used to apologizing. There's a random white guy, but I'm just so used to apologizing. So anywho, the crazy thing about my cousin Emily was she like doesn't apologize. We get back in the car, the ATV course is done, but I don't know if I could park here. But she decides to say, instead of I'm sorry, to say, next time you might want to like move to the right. honey, if I would have moved to the right, I would have ruined my whole body for you. And I'm not ruining my body so you could impress some crazy guys. Oh, and another side note, one of the guys, I guess, was laughing because my sister was like, hey, Nike sandals. Like, you know, like he low-key was chuckling at the fact that I fell in a ditch hole. Like, how are you guys, like, course people, you guys are in charge of all this, and you guys are laughing at people who almost died? I could care less, because at the end of the day, I'm just happy that it wasn't me that, like, did that, like, because at least I can say that it was my cousin that I don't know well that did that to me versus me doing that to me. Like, I feel better knowing that someone else almost killed me than me almost killing myself. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But I really wanted to say that story time because it's super important. And I'm trying to think of what else to say, but yeah, that was super important. And so yeah, the whole ride back, she didn't say anything much. She was super quiet, and that's how the family can be a little iffy sometimes. I even gonna hold you. So I didn't expect anything more from her. Emily, if you're watching this, girl, you better apologize when I see you in another 10 years, because you know that ain't cool. But other than that, I still had fun. I still want to do ATV riding again. But oh my god, here's the funniest part before I end this video. I have a vision board. I'm gonna insert the picture of the vision board I made back then. And I had a picture of these two guys wheeling on an ATV going back. And it says YOLO. And I kid you guys not. I kid y'all not. That was literally how the ATV looked when I fell off of it. Like, holy sh! I was so shocked by that. I'm actually sweating. I'm gonna put my AC on, y'all, because I'm really sweating. Whew. Sorry y'all, I'm getting real hot. But that was my story time. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I just had to come on here and talk about that because I think it's super hilarious and super funny how I literally almost died in the hands of this girl. So again, be safe out there, be careful, and I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. I had to get out the house and just film a little bit with you guys. So take care. Have a good one.